A Tristan topped Canada Regionals. I guess step aside, Lorraine. Hey everyone, it's Isaac from True Champion Gaming, and today I get to cover the Canada Regionals from Red Riot Games, finally. The information was up, I was checking every day. I saw it yesterday and waited a little bit more just to make sure there wasn't any other kind of stats coming out that they hadn't put up yet. I'm glad it did, because it did end up putting up there who was top top 8 and who had the best score. So a little precursor to this, just so you know, they did say that they just gave the playmat to the person who had the best score, and the rest of the prizing was just split among top 8. So a little bit different, but that does mean there was one special winner or top person that got the mat, and that was a Tristan, but we'll get to that in a second. So like I said, they don't have all the information on here. They don't have everyone who played, all the decks that played, all that, but they do have the top 8 and the deck list for those top 8. Here we can see a lot of Fire Lorraine. There's one Wind Lorraine, one Fire Merlin, and that top Fire Tristan going 7-0. So that's pretty cool to see. A different type top deck that hasn't been just Lorraine or Rye. So let's just jump right into the deck list though. So while there was a lot of Fire Lorraine, there were two different types of decks that entered. I'll say the standard Fire Lorraine, which we'll cover here in a second, and then this Fire Lorraine. So this Fire Lorraine, the unique thing about this one is that they are not playing Onsol. They are going for more of Spirit Blade Infusion tech. So meaning they're drawing cards. This on champion hit draw, give your sword weapon on champion hit, draw a card. The reason why that's significant is that's their whole game plan. Their whole game plan is just to gain that advantage and resource advantage, and eventually do Rending Flames and stuff like that, or using Spirit Blade Infusion as well on that. And a neat tech they did put in was 2 Galahad Court Knight here, because Spirit Blade Infusion is giving your sword the on champion hit effect. When you swing with your champion and hit their champion, you get to draw, and then when Court Knight uses that sword to hit their champion, he also draws. So kind of a cool little tech there. They are running this level 3 Lorraine Spirit Ruler that gives more durability, I think specifically for that combo of Galahad Court Knight there. You can bring back something like a Prismatic Edge or whatever. Of course, they have the 4 Ascensions in here to flicker stuff for more draw. They do have the Pendragons again for also more draw. So very draw heavy, but really got kind of like a combo, not with Onsol, but with just damage and drawing cards. The next deck list we're going to cover is just, again, Fire Lorraine. This one's pretty standard, but I would like to point out that out of all these decks, a lot of them are starting to play more Crux types cards, like that Pendragon. Not every deck has been playing that. Not every deck has been playing the Infusion, and not every deck has been playing the Spirit's Blessing, but a lot of these decks in the top 8 were playing these. So that is just something interesting to point out. Again, Fire Lorraine, really good deck. It's why people keep playing it. It is solid. Onsol is crazy. Ascension is crazy. Doing a lot of damage is good. So, and they are playing that Crux Knight Lorraine, which is, of course, very good. Next up is Wind Lorraine. There was only one Wind Lorraine, or one, I should say, Wind Spirit Champion in the top 8, and it was Lorraine. And again, nothing crazy here. We are seeing just that ally package with the Phalanx Captain, Tactful Sergeant, Banner Knight, basic stuff that we've seen before. They are also running the Pendragons though, the Ghosts of Pendragons for a draw, but ultimately it is not Onsol and doing stuff with Spirit Blade Ascension to flicker, your Sword of Avarice to draw more. So again, nothing crazy here. It's a good deck, just like Fire. It seems like Fire was a little more rampant here, but let's get to the more interesting decks of the regionals. So, Fire Merlin. We saw it in our last video that someone did play Fire Merlin and did make top 8. I mean, Erupting is just strong. Just know, it's a good deck, right? You can just burst people out and get there. I do think it takes a little bit of luck because it's not guaranteed every time, but it is a lot of damage. They are playing stuff like Cursed Sword, with I do think is a kind of a fun little combo of making them deal, up to 6 damage to themselves. The main things, of course, though, is Erupting Rhapsody and Fireball and that Ember Song. Now note, make sure you do remember, you can just do, the main thing is that you have to have Erupting in hand, right? If you have an Erupting in hand, you can draw Fireball or Ember Song, and Erupting will allow you to get there and to deal the damage. And it's still a 2-card for reserve costs combo, so you do have to have 6 cards in hand to do these. If you have a Chailing Stone out, of course it's less, but the main thing, if you have Ember Song, of course, you Ember Song, You go into Rhapsody, it deals however much damage, and it's getting boosted by being Merlin, probably because you've, gotten rid of some floating memory here and there. But the other way to do it is do Erupting Rhapsody and then into Fireball, because Erupting is giving you those levels. Your teammate gives 1 level until the end of turn for this, which then does boost the Fireball. So there's 2 ways to get the combo off to do a bunch of damage, and multiple ways to do it. You can also just play a Fireball in the late game that deals a bunch of damage with because you're Merlin and you might be level 8, 9, 10, with Crystal of Empowerment and stuff like that. So just a 2-cost deal 10 is of course great. And finally we have the Tristan deck. So it is a good deck. It isn't that far off from the Xander list that we see. It is going at the ally package. It's playing the Gildus. It's playing a Kingdom Informant. The one thing I do think is interesting, and I thought they would play it when I thought about this deck, I thought you should play Planted Explosives, which it does, because if you're sitting there on Tristan and you're gaining those prep counters, might as well throw in Planted Explosive to deal 4 damage, every turn, or at least every turn, maybe more, more than once per turn. This person, I'll scroll down here, they do sideboard in that Xander. Just in case. Xander's really good against Lorraine, right? If they're rested, you're doing 1 more damage every single time he attacks, and that's boosted ×2 with Rending Flames. So that is important to remember, that while this is a Tristan deck, they do realize the strength of just running Xander in there as well. But very cool to see something other than, Rye or Lorraine top an event, let alone a Tristan topping at regionals. We're always excited to see stuff like this. It helps, people come up with more creative decks and more in new decks, and, builds out that, that meta that we want to see, that isn't just 2 decks winning it at all. So, thanks so much, you guys, for watching. I know there's a short video. That's good. I'll put the deck list down below. I'll put a link to the Luthor's map down below. It has all the deck lists there, so you can check them out for yourselves. And again, there are the other Lorraines down there that I didn't mention, but they're very similar to all the other ones. So again, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys later. Peace.